Does Art have a voice? What does his voice sound like?
I can't tell you. Though I think it would be hilarious that if he had a posh British accent or something like that. It's like, oh yes, hello there, everybody. I'm here to decapitate all of you today. We're gonna have such a jolly good time.
That's terrifying.
Oh yeah.
What's going on, everybody? Klep Napier from wearecritics.com and the X Scream podcast. Listen, I'm filling in for my homegirl M, and today we got a special guest, and I'm doing this one from my home city. That's right, Worcester, Mass. You're going to be able to see this guy in person, get your autographs, get your photos, whatever. If you are a horror junkie, we are speaking to the man, the legend, Art the Clown from the Terrifier and the upcoming film Stream, which we're going to talk about. David Howard Thornton, how are you today, man?
I am doing great. I cannot complain.
Yeah, man, it's been a wild year and years for you. I mean, you are the iconic horror face of the decade right now. How does it feel to be amongst the names of such greats like Jason, Freddy, Leatherface?
It's very surreal. It's like, because those guys are like my icons, so just to even be associated with them feels very weird to me, because I still feel like I'm a baby in this genre right now. I feel like Freddy's like king, and like they're princes. The rest of those are I'm like a Duke of Death on the side somewhere. So like I don't know how that other people can say it, that's fine, but for me to say such things feels weird.
So let's talk about, all right, so September 13th to the 15th, you were going to be in my home city, Worcester, Massachusetts, yes, at the Silver Scream Convention. Talk to me about those experiences at the cons and what it means to you to touch the fans, to actually get to meet them face to face.
But yeah, I love it. I absolutely love doing conventions. I was a fan myself going to conventions growing up, so I always wanted to be on that side of the table one day, signing autographs or doing panels and all that. And I think it's a fun way to like travel, see some really cool places, and also just actually interact with the fans face to face. Is like I know Damien enjoys that too, as well as a lot of the other cast members. And we also usually go, if there's like an after party there on premises, we usually go to those things too, just to hang out with everybody. And I love it. It's something I've noticed with horror cons versus just regular conventions. It seems like the horror cons, like the fans and the actors, there's a better camaraderie that happens there.
Yeah,
it's like you'll see the actors actually hanging out with the fans later on, like at the after parties and stuff like that, which I think is cool. It's just like I think it's a great way to actually, I don't want to say give thanks, but just like give back in a way, and be like it's fun to be able to actually sit down and talk to the people that enjoy your movies and find out what they think and everything like that, instead of just reading it on some kind of internet forum or something like that.
You hear that, fans? David wants to party with you at Silver Screen. I want to talk a little bit about the character Art, because, dude, like I said, everyone is seeing. They're seeing the bigger picture. Everyone loves this character. And I want to know, what do you think it is about this character that people are just resonating with? Because even studios see Art as like something that they need to have a part of.
Yeah, it's what I think it is he's like an amalgamation of all the icons that came before him. At least that's how I look at him in my head. I look at him as like the ultimate horror slasher fanboy. Because there's like little bits of Michael Myers, Jason, Freddy, Chucky, Jigsaw, Hannibal Lecter, Leatherface, Pinhead. He's got all essences of all those characters inside of him, and I think it's just that he has a little different vibe to him, because he's the silent character, but he's very expressive, and he's kind of funny at the same time. So even though he's silent, he's able to convey his wit in different ways, which it's kind of fun at least for me, but I hope it's fun for the audience as well.
You mentioned his silent approach, which is kind of odd, because in your career, I feel as though you've done more dialogue work off screen than you've done on screen. Talk about, the comparison of, is it an uncomfortable thing, or do you prefer to be silent on screen?
I don't know what I prefer more. Like for a little background, I before I took on Terrifier, I was doing a lot of voiceover work for
Yeah.
children's shows.
Yeah.
So I was, for like little ones, like preschoolers. So I've I've run the whole gamut of things. So
Full
I was doing a
circle.
lot of animals and stuff like that, and occasionally a few humans or something like that. But that's my thing. I do over 200 voices in about 25 different dialects, and now I'm known for being silent, which is. I love the irony of that. I'm also, I was trying to get on Broadway. I had done 5 tours with How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the musical. So I'm a song and dance man too. So, but now I'm just known for being silent and killing people. So, hey, I take what comes my way, but it is nice though, because I'm so used to having to memorize pages and pages and pages and pages and pages of dialogue, especially for plays. And voiceover work, you don't usually have to do that because they have the script right in front of you, so you can just go off the script and you can do multiple takes. But like for Terrifier, everybody else has got scripts in their hands. I just show up on set. And of course, I've read the script, so I know what's going on. But most of the time, I'm improvising what I'm doing on the spot. Like I just go up to Damien. I'm like, "What am I doing today, man?" He's like, "Oh, you're doing this, 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 this." I'm like, "Okay, cool. I'll think of something."
You're sawing a lady in half.
Yep. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
In preparation, again.
Sawing a lady in half, though. That's wrong.
In preparation, we want to talk about that because, again, our host of our horror division, M, she also wanted to know, when do you become art? Like, is it in the makeup process? Is it before showing up the set? Is it on set? Is it when you see the set? Like when do you get into that psyche? And are you running lines to yourself in your performance?
That's a good question. I guess it comes from my stage days. I do my homework before I come to set, so I know what I'm going to do basically character wise. So I don't have to do the whole method acting thing like some actors do. Certain clown actors from certain DC films. But I think my co-stars appreciate that because I'm not going around acting like art the whole entire time on set. I'm usually just joking around and doing silly things, dancing around, or taking naps even when I can. But it's like for me, I know where art lives in my head. I knew that when I first did the first film. It's like I did the homework beforehand, so it's like but it definitely helps me when I get into costume and makeup. That's when he really really solidifies for me. But I can turn him on, turn him off just like that, which is very good. But to answer the other question about the lines, I do make up lines in my head. So even though I'm not saying anything out loud, I have my own internal dialogue or monologue going on. So that helps me just at least get the beats that I need for my reactions to things.
Does Art have a voice? What does his voice sound like?
I can't tell you. No, I think it would be hilarious if he had a posh British accent or something like that. It's like, "Oh yes, hello there, everybody. I'm here to decapitate all of you today. We're gonna have such a jolly good time."
That's terrifying.
Oh yeah. But hey, I joke around a lot. I don't know. But he is never going to talk. I think that would totally ruin the character if you ever heard him actually speak. That would be just because whatever voice would come out of his mouth would disappoint people. No matter what I did, it would disappoint people because they all have their own idea of what he might sound like in their head.
Yeah. I want to jump forward a little bit. You guys are working on Terrifier 3. Well, it's done. It's coming.
Yes.
What can you share with us about Terrifier 3? Because there's a lot of unanswered questions.
Yeah, I can share that people are going to die. Very, very, very badly.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a scale. There's a scale because two is already, the bar is already high.
Oh yeah, that we definitely take that as a challenge. But like one of the good things about this, we had a bigger budget this time around, and so we hired a makeup effects team with Christian Tinsley's studio to come in and help us with the practical effects. So that's where a big chunk of the budget went to, was practical effects this time. So it's I think they really helped us up our game. I mean, Damien himself, when he was making them, by himself, he did a fantastic job. But I was like, they just brought us to a whole new level. Some of the things they've designed, I am like, holy shit. Yeah, it's they're pretty impressive, and they allowed us to do some things I never thought we would be able to pull off. Because there's some really cool stuff in there. So I'm excited about that. But there's definitely going to be some questions answered in this. We're slowly building the world that these characters live in and stuff like that. Especially concerning like Sienna's family and stuff like that, and why this is happening. I guess in some ways we're going into that, but we're not trying to Basil exposition slap people in the face with why. Just we like to think our audiences are smart so they can discern things themselves. But there's definitely going to be a little bit more exposition this time, but we do it in some creative ways, I think, and especially if you're paying attention. But we still want to leave some things a mystery, and I think we post some new mysteries in this as well, which is kind of fun. So yeah. It's a fun film.
Now, as far as the kills, is there like any like friendly competition between you guys and the other horror guys? Because you got some competition now, some new competition by the name of Johnny from In a Violent Nature.
Yeah,
a lot of people saying it's the kill of the years in that film.
Yeah, I haven't seen the whole movie itself, but I have seen the kill. Everybody's talking about the yoga kill, and I was like, that made me so happy to see. I love that. I love it. I feel in a way it's because of us, and because we have shown that you can do those really gory kills, and people will be okay with it. Seeing that in a theater, or that the fans want that kind of stuff. So I'm hoping in a way we have kind of led the charge again to get back to those type of like actually showing the kills again in horror movies like we did in the 70s and 80s. So I was very happy. I have no problem with having more competition because that helps us as well. It puts a fire under our butts to keep coming up with new things and fun things to do. So I love that. So I welcome it. And I have to say that was an incredible kill. I was kind of pissed off we didn't think of that one first. I was like, that's great. Especially because like there's a photo from the first Terrifier film of a weapon we never used in the film, but it was just something we had lying around on set. And it's those two metal hooks connected by a chain, and there's a picture of Jenna Cannell holding those. And I'm like, oh my God, we could have used those somehow. Why did we never use those? But they found a great use for them in that movie. So I was like, that was very cool. I was like, so I'm happy to see that. So I'm like, yes, let's keep doing this, guys. Let's keep on. I love seeing new franchises developing and new directors and all that coming in as well. I think it's time for some new blood out there, and no pun intended.
Would you say that Art has that kill beat in this Terrifier, in the third one?
It's hard to say because like the kills we have, it's hard to compare because they're different types of kills, and even the kills we have, they're all different from each other too. So that's up to the audiences, I guess. But I'm like, our kills are definitely on par with that one.
You're giving me the PC answer.
Yeah, I think we definitely do. I mean, there's one kill that happened in the movie that I got grossed out at, and you've probably heard the rumors of that, where I got a little bit sick on set. I did not throw up. I almost did though, and it was because that kill entails something that just makes me nauseous anyway, and I think Damien put that in there just to really mess with me. And it did not help that we're in a very hot house, and it was very smelly in that room that day. And then Samantha Scafidi just decides to walk in eating this bag of corn nuts just to watch what was going on. She wasn't in that scene, and she's just there. And I was like, "Oh God, Sam, go away! That smells, man. You're just making it." She's like, "What's wrong, Dave?" I'm like, "Oh." And I was even like, can I send in my stunt double? They're like, no, Dave, you got to be in the shot. Your face is shown in the shot. I'm like, oh, I hate you guys so much right now.
Oh man,
it was so gross. It was so, and it's a very creative kill too. And it's so messed up. It's so messed up, especially when you really think about this being done to a human being. It's just like, oh my God.
Oh man.
Sure.
The character Art. it's resonating with so many people that you even made this awkward, weird cameo in the Pete Davidson TV series on Peacock called Bumpkis. Talk to us about how that even went down, because I remember watching it and you were just like full on art, the way we love them, but it's just so random for so quick. What was that call like?
That was insane. That was something I didn't expect, because like I knew Pete was a fan because Damien, he had like rented out a theater there on Staten Island because he found out Damien lived out there and he wanted to have a private screening of Terrifier 2 himself. So he brought Damien and our producer Phil, and they just watched the movie together, and they hit, Damien and Pete hit it off. So I was like, oh, cool. He's a good fan and stuff like that. So that's awesome. And then we found out from Pete too that he was a fan of Terrifier going way back to when it first came out, like the first film. That he would, when he was on SNL, he would bring people into his room, like the guests and other castmates, and like, you got to see this movie. He would be showing them the hacksaw scene and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, that's insane. So I was here in LA. I was just wrapping up doing a film premiere for The Mean One, as well as a signing at a store out here. And I was getting ready to fly back the next day, and I get a message both from Damien and my agent going, hey, Pete Davidson wants you to be on his show, Bupkis. Are you able to do this? And I'm like, when is it? Well, it's the morning after you get back. And I'm like, well, that's going to be rough, but yeah, hell yeah, I'm not passing that up. And so they sent a car for me and everything, and because I was worn out. I was like, I just chugged a lot of coffee that day. And, they put me in the makeup and everything. Like, Pete comes to the trailer and just freaks out. He's like a little kid. He was going nuts. Like, Pete is a very genuine guy. He was just, he loves this kind of stuff. And he also brought Machine Gun Kelly with him.
Yeah, that scene is stacked, man.
Yeah. And so like I met Cole. Colson, he's like Machine Gun Kelly. He's such a cool dude. Very very chill. But Pete also showed me a video where he had shown Machine Gun Kelly Terrifier 2. He was showing him the bedroom scene. And
oh my god!
Machine is just like, oh god. So like, Machine Gun Kelly was a little wary of me when he met me. He's like, I don't know, dude. I don't know, man. I'm like, dude, it's fine. But it was very surreal being on that set too, because when we filmed Terrifier, we had such a small crew that maybe be tops maybe 15, 20 people in the room. Yeah. This one had all these NBC executives, all that kind of stuff there. So it was like over probably about 100 some odd people in that room, like a lot of big name people too, not just like the producers and stuff like that, but other talent were there as well, some rappers and stuff like that. So I was like, this is insane. And they just gave me a bunch of props, and they're like, just play and we'll just film you playing with different things. And so there's all this footage of me just doing different, and I had a captive audience, and so it was kind of fun. I was just performing for these people, so I got over that whole shock of like, oh my god, these very important people in this room. I was like, oh fuck this, I'm just gonna have fun with these people and make them laugh. And I had such a great time. It was so much fun.
You had Cameron in there, you had Jadakiss in there, Paul Walter Hauser was in there.
Yeah,
that's insane, dude. Insane.
Absolutely insane. That was a very crazy. I was like, Damien and I, when we went back to the trailer, we're like, what the hell just happened? We're just like, this is insane. This is absolutely insane.
You are officially stamped in pop culture. Art
I guess
forever.
So.
Well, also you're an Easter egg now. That's
I love it. It's fun. It's fun. But those are the things I just never imagined would ever happen in my life. It's just like I went to like one of the birthday parties from one of my co-stars for her daughter from Terrifier 3, and like Chaz Bono walks in wearing a Terrifier shirt. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, this is crazy.
you run Spirit Halloween right now. You are all over their merch, all over their advertisements, blankets, everything. Tell me you are seeing love and residuals from all of this art.
Yeah, I am, and that's a thing that it shows how good of a person Damien Leone is too, because that was something that was not even in my contract when I signed on to do Terrifier 1, because we didn't know what this movie was going to become back when we did Terrifier 1. It was a very, very low budget independent film made for like $35,000. We had no idea. We weren't even thinking about merchandise at that point. That was the last thing on our mind. I mean, we hoped maybe one day that might happen, but we were trying to be realistic with ourselves. But as soon as they started making T-shirts for the first film, Damien's like, hey, man, I'm just going to give you a certain percentage. And I actually looked up what actors usually get percentage-wise for merchandise, and it was actually about that or a little bit more. And that's just Damien being Damien. He's a truly decent guy. He believes, and he's very honorable. He's very true to his people. He's very dedicated, very loyal. And he's like, yeah, here's a cut of this. And I'm like, thanks. But, going forward, that was always in my contracts, just, for legal safety reasons and stuff like that. But I mean, he didn't have to do that. Because I know I've met other actors, of certain icon status that they don't get a cut of the merchandise.
It's different times.
Yeah. Like I know Bonnie Aarons has been, struggling with some of that. I mean, she's been doing lawsuits and all that because that's literally her face. Yeah. That's there people are profiting off us, and she hasn't gotten a dime from that. And I think that's wrong. And so I'm glad she's fighting that. But I'm like, I didn't realize at that point. I thought everybody, because Damien did that for me. I thought that was just a normal thing, but apparently not. I'm like, oh wow! But that's just how good of a guy Damien is. He and that's the thing is like when you treat, and this goes for not just in the entertainment industry, it goes for all kinds of jobs. If you treat your people the way you want to be treated, you're going to get better products, and you're going to find loyalty with those people, and that's how it is. Damien is such a great dude. I mean, he is like down to the I guess you would say the lowest PA on set. He treats everybody equally. He cares about everybody. He gets to know everybody on set. Gets to know just takes good care of everybody there, and that's how it is. He believes it in family, and he wants to keep everything really cool like that on set. So we're all very close. We all get very close. And even when we bring new people into it, like, excuse me, but we had some more people, and we had a bigger crew this time for Terrifier 3. So we had our Terrifier 2 family already there, but we brought in new people, and they were just welcomed into the family as well. We all just get along so well. We all hang out sometimes after we're done filming for the day. And it's great. And it starts with Damien. He's the captain of the ship, and he set such a great example for everybody. So it's like, I can't say enough good stuff about the man.
That's awesome. And we can't wait to meet him, and we can't wait to meet you. It's September 13th to the 15th. Everybody, make sure you guys grab your tickets. Go to silverscreamcon.com, and you can get your tickets to meet David Howard Thornton. You can see Damien Leone. It's going to be a great weekend. I'm going to be there. I can't wait to meet you, David, face to face. Before I let you go, Dave, I want to talk about one more thing you got coming up. You got this film called Stream, and it's loaded with some horror icons. You've got Tony Todd is in this, Dee Wallace is in this, Danielle Harris is in this. What is going on? Because this thing looks like Escape Room meets The Running Man type Purge. What's going on in this film, and when can we expect it? Later this month, right? August 21st?
It comes out August 21st in theaters nationwide. It's a limited run right now, but we're hoping it's going to have the same thing that happened to that, like what happened to Terrifier 2, where we had a limited running originally for Terrifier 2, and it was the fans that got out there, saw the movie, and kept talking about the movie, and kept it going and going and going, where we were in theaters for 6 weeks, and so many more theaters than we were supposed to be in. Excuse me. But so that's what we're hoping is going to happen with that. It's a fun film. It's definitely, like you said, it's like a Running Man, Squid Games, all that kind of stuff just wrapped into one. You have all these icons from horror movies going back 40, 50 years in this thing as well. It's like waking up, because we filmed this during COVID. We quarantined ourselves in a hotel in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and in the middle of winter. So no one else was really in that hotel. There's a funny story about that I'll get to in a second. But but it's just like waking up every single morning, and you're like, who is on set today? Holy shit. Here's Dee Wallace just coming out. Hey, how are you doing? I'm like, oh my God. And Jeffrey Combs. And, just like, this is amazing. Just being able, I wasn't even in the scene with Jeff. And I was like, can I just come in and watch you work, please?
Yeah.
That's how I learn. And just being able to sit there on set and watch the people I have idolized my whole entire life actually do their thing. That was such a great experience. And to be a part of that, and be in a movie with these guys, these men and women that I have been a fan of for years, is just like, that was awesome. And it's a fun film. But yeah, there was a fun incident that actually happened in that hotel, because we did have a few guests. It's a huge hotel.
Yeah.
And apparently the hotel was not telling people that we were filming a horror movie. And I'm like, oh, that's a mistake, especially during COVID. Because like we were doing weird things, because we're in the hallways of the hotel. We were doing light rigs and making it really creepy and eerie and stuff like that. And I'm walking around with blood on me. And there's this whole scene where I'm like stalking a victim and stuff like that down the hallway. That's not really spoiling anything.
Yeah.
And I'm having to do it take after take after take after take, as you usually do, and so that you get different angles. And all of a sudden, this door flies open in the hall, and this woman walks out, and she's like, "Whatever you're doing is very effective. We are Second Amendmenters, and you almost got shot." And I'm like,
oh my
God. And she had a gun. And she showed us the footage she had got. She was filming us through her peephole on her door.
Yeah.
So you see me going by her door, looking around the hallway. I'm like, I am so glad I did not stop and do something in front of that door, because she was right on that other side with that gun ready to go. And I'm like, oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, how did they not tell you what we were filming in here? Oh, I am so sorry, because we didn't even think anybody was on that hallway. So I'm like, oh my gosh, we're doing all this stuff on this hallway, not realizing there are people there. They're trying to sleep too. And I'm like, because this is like late at night. And I'm like, oh, geez, why? I almost got shot. Oh man,
almost turned into a different kind of horror film.
Because just watching that footage and seeing me going by that peephole, it was creepy. I totally see why she reacted the way. I mean, I would have been freaked out too, seeing like this guy with a mask on, covered in blood, stalking a hallway. I would have been wow. So that was interesting.
Thank you for sitting and talking with me.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. I also want to again, point out, please go see Stream as well in theaters. We're trying to, because we want that to be another franchise. And you're also gonna, if you go see it, you're gonna get a sneak peek at my next film that's coming out in January, hopefully into theaters, called Screamboat, where I play a little mischievous mouse named Willie. Oh boy, that's all I can say. So if you're a Disney fan, you're gonna love that movie too. It's kind of like a horror comedy.
Or not a Disney fan, you might still like it.
You'll have fun. You'll have a lot of fun. So it's like, that's another incentive to go see Stream as well. So
okay, yeah, and I hope I get to talk to you about that one too, man. That's on my radar as well.
Yes, you'll have fun. You'll definitely, because it's the Mean One production team teamed up with the Terrifier production team, so it's been a fun synergy mixture. Yeah,
a little synergy. All right, yeah. It's been an honor, David. Again, the Silver Scream Con, ladies and gentlemen, Worcester, Massachusetts, September 13th to the 15th. Make sure you guys get your tickets.